opera season is also upon us, and if you've never been, you gotta go at least once, so don't delay. My Labrador puppies Basil and Lorna are growing by leaps and bounds, a little better behaved, and yes, adorable, so come by the Hotel Santa Fe most weekdays and visit with them. And when you're in the neighborhood, stop by the farmer's market, enjoy all those wonderful fruits and veggies, a true delight for the eyes and the tummy for that matter. All of us at Hotel Santa Fe, the Hacienda and Spa, hope you had a wonderful, joyous, and safe 4th of July weekend. Whilst I'm so proud to be an American, I am also a bloody Brit, so this holiday always places me in a bit of a quandary. Nonetheless, let's have some fun. Please come by and enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner in our lovely open-sided Amaya restaurant patio at Hotel Santa Fe. I hope to see you soon. Bueno, bye.
Your Sunday morning dose of reality is now. Open your mind to Santa Fe's non-GMO, purely organic source of common sense. This is Call to Reason with your host, Loveless Johnson III, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's news talk leader.
Technology this helpful could make history.
What's in your wallet? I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say them loud, say them clear for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to
Welcome, world. Welcome, Santa Fe. You're right here on Call to Reason, 8:07 a.m. You're with Loveless and you are with Beth, and we could not be happier to be here with you. We're very glad you are with us. And folks, we have a very, very, very special guest with us today who is on the campaign trail running for New Mexico governor as the Republican nominee. None other than Congressman Steve Pearce is here with us today. And we want to say welcome to Congressman Pearce. How are you, sir?
Loveless, I'm doing great. We are we flew into New Mexico on Thursday night. We finished votes up about 1 o'clock or something, ran to the airport. I had my first forum about 8 o'clock at night. When I got back in, we've been steadily hitting it. Went all the way through Santa Fe up to Buffalo Thunder, did New Mexico Bankers there, back down to the Independent Petroleum Association of New Mexico, then did the Sunland Park. That was really good. Sunland Park recognizing his 35th birthday. Now that on the surface just sounds a little bit just like a ho-hum. I tell you, about 8 years ago, I went in and they just had all the officials arrested in the town, and the mayor and the new council were sitting there. They had all been sworn in, and said, "Congressman, should we change our name?" And I just immediately said, "No, you should change your town and leave your name the same, and let's reclaim your image." And so yesterday was 8 years of steadfast work on their part, and the town has their chin lifted up. They're looking up now, and instead of looking at their feet, and that's what New Mexico needs a lot of. Just let's quit looking at the ground. We can solve our problems. Let's get our gaze lifted up. And so Sunland Park yesterday was just a refreshing thing to the human spirit. And I told the mayor, I said, in front of all the employees, I said, "Mayor, you remember my first question?" He said, "I do." He said, "Yeah." I said, he asked if we should change the name. And I said, I told you not. And I said, change it. And you could see the pride and all those. They had 30 or 40 employees there. So anyway, we posted that on our Facebook page, and you can kind of tap into it. But these are the things you see on the campaign trail. This is magnificent human spirit.
That's amazing, Congressman. Let me ask you something. We want to. I've looked over your website quite a bit, and I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the things that you stand for. Let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. A lot of folks, there are a lot of advocates and a lot of arguments for legalizing marijuana here in New Mexico recreationally, like they have in other states. And when you look at some of the financial results that other states have gotten, some of those arguments can be quite convincing. When you also look at how a lot of places, they're very, very, very successful. Even the CDC is pointing out that cannabis has been the gateway to actually ending the opioid crisis. And a lot of folks are using cannabis products as an alternative to opioids, and quite successfully. Would you or would you not support a referendum so the people of New Mexico can decide whether or not we want to try that out here and get those financial results for our state?
Loveless, appreciate the question. It's one that you and I have chatted about numerous times. In order to correctly assess, or in order to assess the question that you're asking, I find it necessary to back up one or two steps so that we walk into it with a framework. And New Mexico has roughly just almost 1 out of every 2 struggling with just to get by. They're on Medicaid, welfare. 1 out of every 2, 905,000 out of 2 million people. So one of the things I say that we're just going to take head on as governor is curing poverty. So now then, with that understanding, you got a lot of people just trying to overcome what they got going on in their personal lives. Now then I come up to the question about legalization, and I just don't see how it fits into the broader scheme. You know, and when you look at Oregon, you look at Washington State or Colorado or what other states, they don't. We can't compare ourselves just head to head with them. Our population is one of the poorest in the nation. We have greater just mental behavior health, addiction problems, and so I'm saying let's steady our society out first. Let's address that, and then if we want to bring up the question. But right now, I just see so many people struggling, and it's not just marijuana, it's not drugs. It's alcohol is a huge problem, and of course that's legal, and we see the downside effects that other states don't necessarily see. So I'm nervous about pushing forward on the legalization question, simply because we've got really tremendous things that we must overcome, just tremendous problems we must overcome to start with. So that's how I approach it. Your point is always you've always adequately and effectively contended on the other side that there are reasons we would want to consider it, and I think the discussion is fair and valid. Let's keep having it. My vote would be probably opposite yours on this, but I can certainly hear your voice and hear your observations, and you make good points.
Well, thank you, Congressman. My perspective is simply that the people are the ones who are paying the bills, and their voice should be heard. And I happen to know that if we had a referendum like that, you'd see a vote north of 70% for, including a lot of Republicans and a lot of what we would call our elderly who are finding solace in cannabis as well. And the numbers, the statistics are just there. And I hope that if you are elected governor, you will consider the will of the people and let the people decide, because that way you won't be held responsible for making a bad choice or a good one. The people can decide. And by the way, this is a government of, by, and for the people, everyone.
No, you're making good points.
Congressman, let's talk about our energy sector. We know that you've been in the oil and gas business for a lot of years, and you support that industry. But I've also been through your website and see that you support other industries throughout the sector as well. Tell us what you see or what your vision is for energy and the energy sector potential of New Mexico, given all this bright sunshine we have and these strong winds.
Oh, we should be a leader in every form of energy there is, Lovelace. We've got tremendous solar energy, and years ago I put in a bill, probably my second or third year in Congress, that would have put 5 million acres under solar panels in New Mexico on BLM land. We've got large sections of the lands that are completely unused. It would drive some revenue source for the federal government. But more than that, we power with the renewables. We power a greater sector of our economy from those. Wind, absolutely. We're beginning to see huge wind farms scattered across New Mexico and West Texas. The wind never stops blowing out here. We've got tremendous geothermal resources down in the Deming area, Deming and on towards Lordsburg, and we've got the potential for biomass that is unprecedented. We'd also be restoring and cleaning up our forests. In the past, I've worked with large utilities that would have built 30-megawatt plants or something out in the middle of nowhere, start cleaning out our forests, restore our watersheds. Always the problem was they couldn't get enough trees. They couldn't get a commitment from the Forest Service to provide the trees. I've talked to the current secretary. He said, look, we can overcome those regulatory roadblocks. He said, if you all want to really develop the biomass and use that to clean up your forest, he said, welcome to it. One of the groups that's working tremendously in that regard, Lovelace, is the Nature Conservancy, and they're out doing tremendous thinning projects right now, just balanced thinning. We don't want to clear cut, but then the question is what to do with the slash material. That's where the biomass plants come in. So we've got we also have nuclear here, and so it's the ultimate green, clean power. And so just New Mexico can and should lead in every form of energy.
Well, let's hope we can. Congressman, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about our economy here in New Mexico. So we hope that you'll be able to answer some questions there. And we're going to get our co-host Beth on the line as well. We've been having some technical difficulties with the phone, everyone. But we will get Beth on here shortly, and we hope everyone will stay tuned. While we do, you guys stay with us right here on Call to Reason. You're on Talk 1260 and 103.7. KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader. You're on Call to Reason, and we'll be right back.
I make a date for golf, and you can bet your life it rains. I try to give a party, and the guy upstairs complains. I guess I'll go through life just catching colds and missing trains. Everything happens to me.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
Discover the thrill of winning with the Santa Clara Hotel and Casino 2018 Lexus giveaway on August 31st and September 1st. Win your share of over $455,000 in cash and prizes, including 2 2018 Lexuses. Play to win. Earn entries for every 50 points earned now through September 2nd. Make sure to visit Santa Clara Hotel Casino on Sunday, September 2nd for your chance to win a share of $25,000. Win $2,000 every hour beginning at 12 noon and $3,000 at 11 p.m. Winning Wednesdays have never been hotter. It's easy and simple. The first 15 same-day points earned will give you $30 in slot play. Visit the Players Club for more promotion details, and be sure to visit the casino floor to see both 2018 Lexuses for yourself. Ride off in style and your chance to win big. From table games and slot jackpots to fine dining and family fun, discover all we are at Santa Clara Hotel Casino. For more information, visit santaclaran.com.
Meow Wolf Taos Vortex is coming. Friday, August 3rd and Saturday, August 4th. Featuring the Flaming Lips, Thievery Corporation, Dr. Dog, Washed Out, Emancipator Ensemble, Cashmere Cat, Matthew Deere, Poolside, and more. August 3rd and 4th at Kit Carson Park in Taos. Single day tickets are $69, or come for the whole weekend. Go to TaosVortex.com to get your tickets now.
First impressions are key, especially when you own a small business. When you choose one of Office Court's convenient locations for your small business, you won't just make a good impression, you'll inspire your clients or customers. Beautifully landscaped offices with natural light, great views, and close to any business amenity makes Office Court the perfect place for your small business. Make your first impression the best impression with Office Court. Wagon Road on the south side, Pecos Trail, or St. Michael's Drive. Visit officecourt.com today.
Deductibles, life insurance, long-term, short-term disability, medical, dental, vision. It's a complex puzzle. Year to year, navigating employee benefits is more and more complicated. As a business owner, it's your job to know your business, not the insurance business. Ann Sperling and Vanguard Resources makes it their business to help you invest in your most valuable asset, your employees.
Hi, I'm Ann Sperling at Vanguard Resources. My principle for doing business is simple. Listen first, then ask, then learn, and only then can we collaborate to build the best benefits package for your business. By staying ahead of the curve, we bring informed, innovative solutions based on your individual needs. So feel confident that you're bringing the best products to your employees. Listen, ask, learn, and collaborate. It's the Vanguard Resources way of bringing clarity to employee benefits. Reach out to us today at VanguardResourcesinc.com.
Join more than 50 local contemporary artists at the Academy for the Love of Learning on Sunday, August 12th at 2 p.m. for a Wolf-themed art exhibition opening. Our opening celebrates Ernest Thompson Seton's birthday and the 124th anniversary of his wolf story, Lobo the King of Karumpa. The story illustrates Seton's change of heart from wolf hunter to wolf lover. Featured artwork illustrates parts of the Lobo story from artists' perspectives and will be published as a graphic novel compilation. Join us at our campus in Seton Village as we celebrate creativity, reflect on the impact of our work, and celebrate our next phase of engaging learning and activating change. Visit our website for a frequently updated list of events and workshops at aloveoflearning.org.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
Set it up. That's me in the corner. That's me in the
8:24 a.m. right here on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader. You're with Loveless and Beth on Call to Reason, and we have Congressman Steve Pearce here talking about his vision for New Mexico. Welcome back to Call to Reason, Congressman Pearce.
Hey, nice talking to you.
Congressman, I want to jump right into the economy. As you know, New Mexico has been ranking at the bottom of so many important categories throughout the years, and poverty is rampant here. There's a sense of hopelessness that, as someone who came from somewhere else, but almost 25 years ago, having spent over half my life in New Mexico, I know the crushing hopelessness and poverty that exists here. And many governors have tried to do something about that. Some full-throated, some half-heartedly. But none have really stepped up. And it seems like our current governor is leaving the gap between rich and poor and the condition of poor folks way worse off than how she found it. So it's an uphill climb for our next governor in the area of poverty. What is your plan for making a real difference that we can all touch and feel?
Loveless, there are 4 areas that have to be dealt with simultaneously, and again, it's kind of my background. My wife and I started with just almost nothing. I grew up in abject poverty. My dad was a sharecropper and went broke doing that. I mean, our first house, I run that ad showing people because we really did get the chickens out and we moved in. So I know from personal experience, more than probably any governor has ever known, what poverty looks like, smells like, and feels like, and so that understanding of how we get out of the pit is key. But the four areas that have got to be addressed simultaneously are grow and diversify the economy, and we got to put opportunities where the people are. I'm sympathetic to Native Americans who want to live on the reservation, and there are no opportunities, and so they just kind of they're stuck. They want to be there, part of their culture, and there's not an opportunity for jobs. So taking jobs right out in and around the reservations, helping to develop those opportunities there will help. Then the poorer counties, I was just in Sunland Park last night. We're helping. We've been steadfast partners with them for 7 or 8 years. Like I was saying, it was me telling them, don't change your name, let's change who we are. Then Cibola County is another one that we're working closely with, devastated since the uranium mines moved out back in the 70s. We're working with them just as we speak. In the South Valley of Albuquerque, we're down in there going to do an event this coming week down there, and we've already announced how we're going to start providing jobs, and we are already providing jobs for guys and women who are getting out of prison. They typically can't find anything, and so we're working with them and beginning to, we'll start placing those people in jobs. If we get people a place to live and a job when they get out of prison, it's a very high percent will never go back. But we make it so hard for them to get back into the workforce that they end up drifting back into the streets and the crime. So stabilizing different pieces of the population. So the economy, the development of the economy has to be dealt with, but you also got to deal with behavior, mental health, and addiction. And I think that bureaucracies are not going to be the answer. We have to find committed people out in every community who will begin to stabilize their community. So the poverty, just addressing it straight up, but if we address the poverty and the addiction, we still have an education system that's broken, so you got to fix that. And so all of those, the economy, education, poverty, and crime, all fit together, and they have to be worked on together. We're very comfortable that we can reduce the number of people on welfare and on public assistance tremendously just by helping them get on their feet. I will tell you that kind of the last thing, and I'll let y'all ask questions more specific, but we've got to have apprenticeship programs to train people, and we'll start those in the high schools, but frankly we'll make them available to anybody who is out there wanting to get back into the workforce. So the apprenticeship programs are big, but also as governor I can sign and will sign a work requirement. If you're able-bodied without children on Medicaid, then you're going to have a work requirement. And we're going to help you get back on your feet and restore your confidence in yourself, restore your belief in yourself. So those are the key elements that I see that we can impact greatly, this grinding poverty that you're talking about, Loveless.
Well, you know, compassion can be coupled with conservatism.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It has happened, but we need an ideal scenario, Congressman, because New Mexico is suffering, and we need a lot more than lip service. We're going to need some serious action. Congressman, we got a few more questions to ask. I want to talk about the environment and climate change. Beth has brought up a really good question that she's tapped in on our Facebook feed. And we also have a question from Louie, who wants to hear about what your plans are now that Governor Martinez's veto did not stand. And industrial hemp is a reality, at the research phase at least, in New Mexico. What you might want to do to create a big industry here in New Mexico when you talk about natural resources. We got a lot more to talk about with Congressman Pierce, everyone. Y'all stay tuned. Beth and I will be right back. It's 8:30 a.m. right here from the studios of Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader. You're on Call to Reason, and we'll be right back.
Tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
I am so sick and tired of these ants, roaches, insects, and mice everywhere.
Honey, it's fine. I'm going to take care of it.
No, you're not. If this lasts one more day, I'm going to have to call Critter Control.
Critter Control? We don't need no stinking Critter Control.
We do, too. Critter Control is the only way we're going to get rid of these nasty insects and mice in our house.
Does this sound like a conversation you've had? If so, find out how Critter Control can get rid of your nasty pests today at CritterControlSantaFe.com or call 1-800-CRITTER.
Santa Fe is excited to announce the first annual Santa Fe Music Week, August 24th through September 3rd, featuring local and national artists and venues across Santa Fe with music from jazz to Latin to rock to country that will delight all members of your family. Free live music every afternoon on the plaza, and check out your favorite restaurants and bars around town for live music. Come celebrate the wonderful music and musicians in our community during Santa Fe Music Week, August 24th through September 3rd. For more information, visit SantaFeMusicWeek.com.
Hi, this is Candyman Chris.
And this is Candyman Franny.
Here at the Candyman Strings and Things, we have everything for your musical needs, from novice to pro. Visit our award-winning showroom and browse the largest instrument and accessory inventory in New Mexico.
Hone your musical craft with one of our awesome music teachers. We have lessons for all instruments and skill levels. Come join us for our Pappy O'Daniels Porch Time Jam and Djembe Madness Drum Circle.
Need service? No problem for our expert band, guitar, and electronics technicians.
Awesome selection, awesome prices, and awesome service. From the Music and Sound Best Sales Staff and Dealer of the Year for 2018.
The Candyman Strings and Things.
Santa Fe's Community Music Center. 851 St. Michael's Drive in Santa Fe. 200 DP Road in Los Alamos. 983-5906. CandymanSF.com.
When you own a small business, every single dollar you spend has to count. So where are you spending your marketing dollars? Hi, this is Elisa Bourget from Hutton Broadcasting. As a local Santa Fean, we know that word of mouth is huge in our town. What if I told you that you could maximize your voice and tell thousands about your business and get a great return on your investment? At Hutton Broadcasting, we offer 6 local and engaging radio stations, plus 2 city-centric websites to target your next customer. 93% of the population still listens to radio every week. That's more than TV and social media. And that's not all. Did you know that advertising your business on the radio can increase your search traffic significantly? Radio is the #1 way to reach baby boomers to millennials and everyone in between. On our multimedia platform, you can reach the people who are right here in Santa Fe and northern New Mexico. Plus, we customize every single campaign to fit the needs of your business. Whether you're brand new or a business that has been here for generations, I want to help you grow your business in our hometown. Email me today at sales@santafe.com. Let's get started.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
Buffalo soldier, dread like a Rasta. It was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America. Stole
Welcome back to Call a Reason, everyone. 8:35 a.m. on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning. Here in Santa Fe, we are currently sitting on 64 degrees, on our way to a high of 87. Going to be sunny all day and beautiful. Great summer Sunday to enjoy this beautiful state of New Mexico. And speaking of beautiful states of New Mexico, we've got a gentleman running for our governor. Republican nominee and Congressman Steve Pearce is here with us. Congressman, welcome back to Call a Reason.
Thanks. Good.
Congressman, listen, Beth wanted to know, because we're having technical difficulties getting her on the line with us, but she wanted to know, the Washington Post has recently reported that more severe weather as a consequence of climate change is adding up to more hurricanes and coastal flooding, but of course droughts and water shortages in places like New Mexico. What do you view? Okay, let me just get this question right. Will you have an aggressive agenda for the state to proactively take charge or proactively take measures to thwart climate change? And what is your agenda for climate change? Do you have an agenda for climate change, Congressman?
Well, the probably the most pressing question for all is water, and so I believe that New Mexico should be a worldwide leader in water. If we don't solve this problem, New Mexico has a very checkered future ahead of it. So, again, we've talked about the restoration projects, International Forest, that would start replenishing the watersheds. It would replenish our aquifers and our rivers. So water is probably the key component. Absolutely doing everything that we can to clean up our messes from the past. I think everybody agrees on that. And my wife and I led by example on that. We bought a business back 20 years ago or so or bought a location that had grandfathered septic system in, and it had been an industrial site. We could have continued to grandfather that in, use it at our expense. We hooked up to the city sewer, which probably cost us about $4,000 or $5,000 to extend the line out to where we could hit that. But then we dug up the mess from the past. We thought we were going to get about $4,000 or $5,000, but we ended up having to chisel through the rock. There was a small place where the contamination had gotten down through the bedrock that lies under Hobbs, about 15 foot deep. We had to dig to almost 30 feet. We were in about 10 or 15 feet of the water table. But we dug up every bit of the pollution from somebody from the past. So we aggressively want to clean our environment up, restore the water, reclaim water. We ought to be cleaning up water everywhere and pumping it around the state. A lot of communities are wanting to take water from other places. Let's not do that. Let's not let Santa Fe, for instance, take water from another site. Let's clean up water and make it available to Santa Fe. We got a lot of water, just not a lot of clean water. So just aggressively keeping our environment as clean and pure and pristine as we can, I would agree 100% with that.
Do you think that the opportunities to exploit renewable energy will help us make a greater contribution to solving some of these climate change issues that we have, Congressman?
Absolutely. I'd mentioned up front that I think New Mexico should and can lead in biomass, in solar, wind, nuclear. Just we've got geothermal. We've got just almost every form of energy here. One of my good friends in Congress is Thomas Massey from Kentucky. He's an MIT scientist, and he lives completely off the grid. He took over New Year's last year, he dismantled a Tesla battery to use it to power his house. He used to have 25 or 30 dry cell batteries around, the kind that you have in your car. Those are always inconvenient. You got acid bubbling out on the floor. He took this Tesla battery and disassembled it, put his total house about 4,500 square feet. They air condition and they heat it they're completely off the grid. So these efforts to find the storage for the renewables is the key component. Now, Sandia Labs takes the leadership in that nationwide for our government. They, I don't think, are making the kind of progress even that the private industry is. We've got a firm working out of Roswell that says they have a battery that is 4 times more efficient, effective, and produce more power than the Tesla battery. If that's the case, then New Mexico will probably become the center for renewables, the storage of renewable energies. That's always been the limiting factor. And so I absolutely believe that we can develop the industries that will lead the nation in harvesting these alternative energies.
Congressman, just to be clear, I want to make sure I get a clear answer on this question. Are you a person that believes that climate change is man-made, and do you believe it's real?
Yeah, I don't see the science as clearly as some do, and I have conversations with my friends. But at the end of the day, I kind of think that it hardly matters what I believe if we're all interested in the same outcome. That is, that we get renewables, that we have a more sustainable environment, that we preserve this magnificent beauty of the state. These these discussions on philosophy or our beliefs on one system or another, frankly, kind of move into not as big a significance if we understand that the outcomes we're looking for are the same. But I don't dig into the issue with great depth, but I see a lot of the arguments on the side that says we still have a lot of questions to ask.
That's fair enough. Congressman, before we go into commercial break, I've got another question that weighs heavy on my heart a lot. Most folks who know me know that I am a real freedom fighter. I'm a real justice warrior. And I'm also a veteran. I'm a military man, former Navy. You're a veteran also, Congressman.
Thank you for your service.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for yours, sir. I believe in American freedom for real. And as a veteran, as a person who understands the threats that come at our freedom every day from around the world, Congressman, it makes me really disappointed and afraid that the actual greatest security to our national security right now, the greatest threat to our national security today, doesn't come from Al-Qaeda, it doesn't come from ISIS, it doesn't come from the Mexicans or anybody coming from the southern border. It comes from the fact that we have a national debt and deficit that are out of control. My great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to be born bankrupt at the pace that we're on right now, thanks to the borrow and binge Republican Congress that has been doing this to us for years now. Now, this is something I went up against you back in 2006 about, this borrow and binge Republican Congress, and it's 3 times worse than it was then. A $30 trillion projected debt, thanks to these moves that have been made, and no end in sight. And now a $1 trillion deficit a full year before that was even projected. And how dare y'all create a condition where we could have a $1 trillion deficit in the first place? Congressman, please explain to my great-grandchildren why you've been participating in this borrow and binge Republican Congress and creating the actual greatest threat to our national security with all this debt and deficit.
Lovelace, if you will modify your statement one little bit, then I will gladly agree. And it is both parties that are deeply, deeply responsible.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
If we say both parties, now then, you're hitting at the point where I probably have the greatest division with my party as I can. The Democrats say that they are for expanding the budgets and stuff. Republicans say, in my mind, we say that we're going to restrain the budgets, that we're going to live within our means, that we don't have a tax problem, we got a spending problem, And yet, under our leadership, as well as under Democrat presidency, we expanded that deficit so much that I believe, like you, that the greatest threat our nation faces is the debt and the deficit. So if you look at my votes, almost always I was against these big continuing resolutions, against the omnibus. At one point, I was such an obstacle that John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, called me in and said, "Pierce, you're not a very good team member." I said, "Sir, what does that mean?" He said, "Well, you're not voting for our bills." And I said, "Sir, you get their bills right, I'll vote right. You get them wrong, I'll vote against you." He said, "Son, when you're here, you work for me." I said, "Sir, with all respect, I work for the people of southern New Mexico who elect me. I do not work for you, and don't you ever try to force me into that again." John Boehner, I will just tell you, Loveless, he tried to crush me for 6 solid years as Speaker. And I tell people, and I don't say it with any anger or antagonism, that John Boehner is gone and I'm still there. So his attempts to crush the spirit out of those of us who are conservative and felt like you do, that the debt and the deficit are the single greatest fears. Yes, we can forget Al-Qaeda, we can forget all the other threats, because this one is the one that is eroding our nation from inside out. It's the one that's taking away not just your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, it's taking your economic future away from you. So I believe that government must live within its means. We've got to be more effective. We've got to be more efficient. And we got to address the sheer slop of the trough of government programs. And so I will side with you 100% as long as you include both parties. They both get to Washington and all kind of wink and nod and say it's going to be okay. It is not going to be okay if we continue the path we're on.
Now, where I slightly disagree with you, Congressman, is I get the the whole way y'all set up and I am going back to blaming the Republicans, because you all are the ones in charge of Congress right now. You all are the ones who gave the wealthy and the corporate folk a few $1 trillion, and now predictably so, you're looking to attack poor folks in order to pay for it. These tariffs, this welfare that everyone is giving a wink and a nod. You talk about wink and a nod. How about a wink and a nod on $12 billion to try to fill in what is a $13 billion hole in agriculture right now, thanks to these really awful tariff policies? We're already underwater and upside down, just trying to fill in a hole with corporate welfare for farmers that they don't even want. How do we explain that to our grandkids who we're leaving bankrupt, Congressman?
The $12 billion for the farmers on the tariff thing is not one that is through Congress, by the way. I'm not sure exactly where the president's going to come up with that $12 billion. I have no because idea it does have to pass. But the other side is that what the tariff policy is trying to do is get some fairness. We've all, since I got in Congress, as soon as you get there, you realize we're not talking about free trade. We're talking about fair trade, and that's where this tariff policy is directed. The Europeans have been charging us 25% basically on materials headed that way, so $1 out of every 4 is added on top out as a tariff, while their products are coming here at 2 and 3% tariff. And the president says we're going to level that out. Now, if you noticed on Friday, I think it was, the Europeans said, okay, we're going to go to 0 tariff on everything except the cars, and we're going to equalize that. Now, again, our cars going to Europe get 25% surcharge on tariffs. Their cars coming here come almost free of charge. And so, yes, the playing field has been out of whack for every country sending to us. Most of the free trade bills in Congress were trying to get our products sent to those nations. They already have free access to us, but we can't get into their countries. And so the idea of fair trade is the one that's coming. And if the Europeans actually do follow through and lower to 0 on the tariffs, now the poor that you're referring to are going to be much better off because we're going to have better jobs, sending more American products overseas, and that's what the big underlying argument in the tariff is. Going to Canada, our dairy products get 250% tariff added on top of them. their products coming to us are something in the 20% range. So again, a 10-to-1 advantage to the workers, to the companies in Canada for coming here. Australia is the same with their beef. Coming here, our beef producers have been driven out of business. In the southern part of New Mexico, in Hatch, they told them about 2 weeks ago, they said, you tell the president to keep going on that tariff stuff because the chilies and onions are coming in killing our farmers. They put pesticides that we can't use. They get free access to us. They can pay their labor 1/10 what we pay just right across the border. And so there is two sides to this tariff argument, Loveless, and you got to look at both. I understand where you're coming from, but you got to look at the other side, too, if you're going to talk about the tariffs.
I don't disagree we need to level the playing field. I'm just not a big fan of the methodology and how it's going to hurt the most vulnerable citizens in the country. Who's gonna ultimately pay for this trade war? Working people are going to pay for it at higher prices that they can't afford. Working people are going to pay for it, Congressman, and that is the bottom line. The working people are going to get better jobs out of it because we will have the level playing field to sell our products more cheaply. If you want to look at that play out, take a look at what's going on in Hobbs and Carlsbad right now. Right now, this is not hypothetical. We had limited ourselves from being able to compete in the world oil market. For 40 years, we could not export our oil, so Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, they became world powers because we couldn't compete. So 3 years ago, we changed that bill. Today, you know what an entry-level worker in New Mexico in Hobbs and Carlsbad makes in the oil field? They're making $100,000 to use a hoe and a shovel. So when you talk about the effect on American workers, remember that when we start sending our products worldwide, that we are going to find higher and better wages because of it. Now, if you take a look, the Harley-Davidson... Congressman, I'm going to have to cut you right there. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back.
Let me start in when we get back. Okay,
thanks. We'll be right back to wrap up with Congressman Steve Pearce. Y'all stay tuned to Call a Reason. We'll see you in just a couple seconds.
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Join Bathtub Row Brewing for their 3rd anniversary bash on August 3rd, where there will be live music, food, and beer all day long. Festivities began with a charity golf tournament to benefit all individuals first, a local program that provides day programs for disabled adults. Team spaces still available, and don't miss Vanilla Pop at 9 p.m. Cover charge only $10. Join the celebration on August 3rd at Bathtub Row Brewing, Los Alamos' only microbrewery, located at 163 Central Park Square. Find out more at bathtubbrewbrewing.coop.
Have you heard about the new Fetch Delivery mobile app in Santa Fe? Fetch literally delivers anything and everything from hundreds of your local businesses, including restaurants, cafes, food trucks, grocery stores, convenience stores, flower shops, dry cleaning, and hardware. Call 505-GO-FETCH or download it on the App Store. This week, try Fetch and we'll deliver free coffee from 35 North. It's easy. Use the promo code FREE35NORTH. Again, the promo code's FREE35NORTH, and the first $10 is on us. Look for the Fetch electric cars powered by Santa Fe Kia. Go green, go local, go Fetch. Hey, Santa Fe Uber and Lyft drivers. Want to make extra cash? Join the Fetch.Delivery team and earn extra income. Go to Fetch.Delivery, fill out the driver form, and improve your hustle. That's Fetch.Delivery. Call 505-GO-FETCH. Again, go to Fetch.Delivery or find us on the App Store.
Hi, I'm Deborah Fritz, owner of Gallery Fritz, and I'm excited to let you know about our new curated space. This inaugural exhibition is titled The Presence of Absence and runs through August 26th. It is curated by the amazing Lise Kessler of Lise Kessler Fine Art. And here's Lise to tell you more about it.
Thanks, Deborah. I curated The Presence of Absence to highlight our amazing local talent. The 5 Santa Fe-based artists in the exhibition range from emerging to internationally recognized. They each address the concept of absence, interpreted through painting, sculpture, glass glass, drawing, and photography. I am honored and delighted to present this diverse group of works by Lawrence Fodor, John Joe, Azadeh Nia, Judy Tuwalot-Stiwa, and Susan York.
We'll see you at Gallery Fritz for The Presence of Absence. The show runs through August 26th, 540 South Guadalupe at the Rail Yard Galleries.
Looking for some excitement in Santa Fe? The SantaFe.com event calendar has you covered 7 days a week with over 800 posted events to choose from each month.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's news talk leader.
My mother told me before she passed away, said, son, when I'm gone, don't forget to pray, 'cause there'll be hard times. Hard times, oh yeah. Who knows better than I?
65 degrees right here on a sunny Sunday morning at 8:56 a.m. We're going to go back to the news here in a couple minutes, but Congressman Pierce, can you hang with us for about 10 more minutes? Let's do the news and bring you. We got one more.
I can. Yeah, I can. If you give me one more minute, if you got it before the news.
Yes, go ahead. We got 2 minutes.
So,
2 minutes.
So let's to understand a little more deeply this whole tariff question. If right now the price of steel of iron is about 45 cents, if you have a 25-cent tariff or so, 25% tariff, which is what they're threatening, you're going to push the cost of a Harley-Davidson motorcycle up $30, $15,000, $30. That's a pretty modest amount. But then the offshoot is that in order to start providing our own iron ore again, there's a place right down in southern New Mexico, right north of El Paso on the way to Alamogordo, going to create, if we will get the government permits right, and I'm talking to the White House right now, that's going to be 4,000 jobs producing that iron ore here. So, and the jobs are anywhere from $60,000 to $120,000 a year jobs in Otero County. So the long-term result of this tariff stuff is going to be much better results for the American worker.
That is actually good news, Congressman. And that's actually good news, indeed. Congressman Pierce he's graciously agreed to hang with us for one more segment because we got a couple other tough questions. We've got
I'm enjoying the conversation, man.
Beth is also a tough interviewer, and she's got a real good one for you, Congressman. So thank you for being a good sport about it, folks. We've got Congressman Steve Pierce right here running for governor in New Mexico, and he's sharing his vision and facing some tough questions. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be back after the news with Congressman Pierce, and you're on Call to Reason right here on Talk 1260. And 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's news talk leader. 65 degrees. I'm so sorry, y'all. 67 degrees here in Santa Fe. On our way to 87. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be back after the news.
Listening to Talk 1260 KTRC AM at 1037 K279 CX FM Santa Fe and streaming live at SantaFe.com.
Wildfire on the move. Trump threatens shutdown. I'm Christopher Cruz. A deadly Northern California wildfire has now destroyed more than 500 buildings and is threatening 5,000 more as it rages into its fourth day. Correspondent Paul Verkaman on the scene near Redding this morning says the fire is now moving.
Now burning to the west, about 30 miles to the west of Redding in the hills, and we now understand it's burned 83,000 acres.
You got to give the people time. Give the people what they want. Don't you know you got to give the people what they want. Well, I done been all over the world, and everybody feels
9:07 a.m. right here on Santa Fe's News Talk leader, KTRC Talk 1260 and 103.7. You're right here on Call to Reason with Loveless and Beth, and we are honored to have special guest Congressman Steve Pearce here with us, talking about his vision as he is on his quest to be New Mexico's next governor. Congressman Pearce, welcome back once again. Call
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Listen, Congressman, Beth, just to give you a little bit more background about Call to Reason. You know, one of the things that people love about Call to Reason is the fact that Beth and I have known each other since I was 24 years old, and the state student coordinator back then for the Democratic Party, running the student operation for Senate candidate Harvey Gantt. He was running against Jesse Helms at that time. And Beth, I gave Beth her first job ever. She was 19, and we've been fighting together ever since. Although I haven't been a Democrat in over half that time that we've known each other, she still is a very progressive Democrat and considers herself a freedom fighter on that side of the boat. With me being more of a libertarian and a hard-nosed, fiscal conservative. We make a good team, but she has a question for you that represents the views of a lot of people, and she wants to know simply this. Will you support fully funding, as governor, will you support fully funding Planned Parenthood? And if not, why do you take that position that the minority of the state represents and will harm women's health?
So the first, just to go directly at it, the answer would be no. And if we're talking about women's health, then to fully fund Planned Parenthood would fund something like 4 or 5 clinics. We got something like 150 clinics that nationwide we've said that we would fund the community health clinics with the funding that currently goes to Planned Parenthood. So you get 150 scattered around the state versus the 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it is. Generally, that's handled out of D.C. We simply follow what D.C. says that we've got to do here in the state. But I am not one of the advocates for Planned Parenthood. No, I am an advocate for women's health. Yes, but I think we can more effectively deliver that through the 150 or 153 clinics around the state rather than the 4 or 5. Many of the poor people can't drive to Santa Fe to get the services that Planned Parenthood provides. That's pretty well. And I'm sorry that Beth's not able to be with us today. I always appreciate the kind of interaction
going in. We've got four things: economy, education, poverty, and crime. So crime, the first thing we'll do is announce a program to stop the recidivism, help people get into, when they get out of prison, help them get into a place to live and find a job. I'm already doing that. On poverty, mental, behavior health, and drug addiction, I'm already working with groups on that in order to start digging into these systemic things that really create poverty and create the tendency towards poverty. On education, we're going to start letting our teachers teach. We're going to take the problems out of the classroom. The mental health, behavior health problems typically are pushed into the classroom, and the teachers get blamed when they can't teach kids that really need some sort of professional anger management or help overcoming what they're finding happening at home. In the economy, we're simply going to, I'm actually going with Jeff Apodaca on Monday. We're going to announce that his plan to invest in New Mexico companies is one that was very sound, and I've fleshed that out a bit. We've got several companies coming together, so we're already doing the things. So day one is going to be continuing what we're already doing. No matter if I'm not in as governor yet. We're creating jobs already. We're already laying the foundations to change our education. We're working on the mental health problem as we speak, finding people who are digging into that, and then the crime to stop the recidivism. We go and we can find ways to interrupt the feeding into the criminal system by our apprenticeship program. So we're already talking to companies right now. The companies are going to fund these apprenticeship programs, not the taxpayer. So we're already working on all the things that we will on day one. We simply take one more step in each one of those areas in the direction we're establishing right now.
That sounds good, Congressman. Listen, we really appreciate it. We're taking so much time on Sunday. Rob, as you are, we appreciate your time. Let the listeners call the reason. Keep in mind, we're worldwide. Congressman, tell everyone how they can get a hold of your campaign.
Yeah, Pierce for New Mexico, and you can use the FOR or you can use FOR. So Pierce for New Mexico, it's our webpage, it's our Facebook, Instagram. We're very active on all of those and the Twitter accounts are the same. So just check in, let us know plus or minus. We're always one of the areas that I think my position has changed pretty dramatically is in medical marijuana. So this is the things that people bring to me. Try to feed them into the facts of the systems that I know and things I know of the system. So I'm always happy to hear diverging points of view of that. I really appreciate the conversation this morning. But that's what we should be doing in America. We've kind of gotten into armed camps. Republicans don't talk to Democrats. Democrats don't talk to Republicans. I'll just tell you frankly that I get along with Maxine Waters probably better than any other Republican. I get along with her better than most Democrats do. She is on my committee. We have to work together. She's the ranking member, which means she controls the Democratic votes. So I work through her, and we are actually we work on some heavy duty stuff, and it requires a lot of trust. And so she and I are able to joke and laugh, and what she and the president get into, I tell her that's her business. I'm not interested in it. I tell the president I'm not defending him against her or her against him. And so I just work with people with much different viewpoints. Luis Gutierrez and I get along very fine. We ride the elevator together. Our offices are in the same hallway, so we have to walk together all the time. There's no people in your eyes say, we all want a better country. We have a different way of getting there. But in the end, to get there, then we've all won for a better country. So there are widely ranging viewpoints, and Beth's widely ranging viewpoints. I'm friends with people who I do, yeah. We're in it together, and if we look at our differences, we're not miles apart. Sometimes we're feet apart, sometimes inches apart. We can survive that. We just can't survive these armed camps that we've turned into in our political discourse. So I always appreciate the opportunity to visit with anybody that has a different opinion.
We hope you'll join us again soon, Congressman, as this race goes forward. We know it's going to be a tough one this year. Beth wanted to also say thank you very, very much for being here with her and us. And we appreciate your service, Congressman. Pierce, thank you again for being here with us.
Have a great weekend. Thanks.
That's Congressman Steve Pierce, everybody. He is running for governor of the great state of New Mexico, the home of Colorado. And we wish him and his opponent well. We'll have his opponent, Congresswoman Michelle Lujan, on here in a few weeks. And we look forward to that. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, Beth is going to tell somebody who deserves it. Shut the hell up. I can't wait, and I know you can't either. Y'all stay tuned to Call the Reason. It's 9:19 a.m. at Talk 1260 and 103.7. KTRC Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. Right now, we're also sitting on a beautiful, beautiful temperature. On a beautiful sunny day. It's going to be 87 today, and we're sitting at 67 right now. Y'all stay tuned to Call the Reason. We'll be right back.
And I should follow all of your empty promises. Leave me hollow. And oh, how do I trust you? How do I love you when you lie to me repeatedly? Oh, how do I have faith in you when you just don't come through like you said you could? Oh, say, can you see?
Stay tuned for more Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Aquí somos familia. Join us for the 67th Annual Traditional Spanish Market, Saturday and Sunday, July 28th and 29th on the historic Santa Fe Plaza. This year showcasing more than 200 artists. Preview night Friday the 27th at El Museo on the Rail Yard, starting at 5 with Collector's Hour. Public viewing begins at 6. Get your tickets by calling 982-2226. That's 982-2226.
Hey, it's Matt from Tecolote, homemade New Mexican and American comfort food, and we're no longer just a great breakfast and lunch spot. Try our happy hour Wednesday through Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. with wicked cheap appetizers, pints, and house wines. Join your friends or family after work and fill your belly with happiness for as little as $10. Nachos, quesadillas, wings, carne adobada egg rolls, and more. Great breakfast, no toast. Great dinner, no boast. Tecolote Cafe on Facebook.
So, Deborah, I had some guests in town just last week, and I took your advice.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we strolled Canyon Road. We saw some awe-inspiring art, had an amazing lunch, and even found that perfect piece we were looking for to complete our living room we just recently had remodeled.
Ooh, I can't wait for you to show it to me. I'm Deborah Fritz, owner of Jacoby Fritz Fine Art at 702 Canyon Road and GF Contemporary at 707 Canyon Road. And that is just what you do on the perfect day in Santa Fe. There are literally thousands of inspired and original pieces right here in our backyard. So if you're looking to collect something from one of Canyon's most well-known artists, or if you need to find just the painting or sculpture that will bring alive a special space in your home, we are just a walk away. So take an artistic exploration down historic Canyon Road. And while you're there, drop by either Jacoby Fritz Fine Art or GF Contemporary and discover the artistic beauty that is why we call home the city different. And again, thank you for making original artwork a part of your life.
At the Montecito, your friends and family will love the resort-style amenities. It's like living on vacation in beautiful Santa Fe. The Montecito Santa Fe is an independent living retirement community for the active senior who wants the security of knowing that they can comfortably age in place. Newly renovated 2-bedroom units are going fast, and there's only a few still available. Right now, you can take advantage of a fabulous summer special, including $1,000 in savings on community fees, 1 month free rent, a $50 gift certificate to the delicious Garbo's restaurant, free salon or spa services, plus so much more. Visit MontecitoSantaFe.com right now to book your tour before this offer is gone. That's MontecitoSantaFe.com.
Hello, it's Gabe Leba.
And Maria Leba with Leba Real Estate.
Do you think homeownership is beyond your reach? It may be closer than you think. Are you ready to upsize or downsize from your current home or purchase an investment property? Give us a call and we could use our 20 years of expertise and resources to achieve your goals.
Call us to find out more information on our newest listing, a centrally located 3,400 square foot triplex with tons of vigas, 3 fireplaces, and a great rental history. This is a great investment opportunity in the heart of Santa Fe. You can live in one unit and rent the other 2, priced at $426,000. Some of our current inventory includes a totally remodeled 2-bedroom home just a couple of minutes from downtown with no homeowners association. Want a little more space? We have a 2,000 square foot home on an acre of land for only $189,000.
Call us now at 505-473-0223 to preview these listings or to find out how we will market your home on the radio. Visit us online at LebaRealEstate.com.
Leba Real Estate. You have a family in the business.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
Beautiful sunny Sunday morning right here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. 9:26 a.m. What a great day to be alive. What a great day to be alive. 67 degrees on our way to 87 in Santa Fe. And I do finally have Beth on the phone with us. Beth.
Hey, Loveless.
What an interview.
Yeah, thank you for pitch hitting for me my questions. I was sad that I didn't get to ask them myself, but as we were commenting off air, it is refreshing to have a conversation with someone with a different point of view without everybody shouting at each other and somebody storming off the set like CNN. So I do want to say that I really do appreciate that conversation. Having said that, as you and I also mentioned on the phone, that he does have a 100% rating with the so-called Right to Life folks in New Mexico, and he will do what he can to overregulate abortion services so that they're less available, and he will do his best to defund Planned Parenthood. So our listeners and viewers need to be clear on that. And as I said, too, that I was a little bit disappointed in how he tap danced around a little bit on his climate change issue. And I really don't understand people who continue to thwart the views of 90% of the climate change scientists. And I feel like that continuing to stick your head in the sand on climate change and to not listen to the science is detrimental to our future. So I just wanted to add that in there since I wasn't able to ask the questions myself. But totally appreciate him and his candor and that we were able to have a good conversation.
Yeah, I was grateful for that as well. Beth, we're going to take another quick short break so we can catch up to our time clock. But when we come back, you got to be ready to give us
I'm ready.
The best 4-minute shut the hell up in the history of the segment.
Oh my gosh, that's too much pressure. Don't do that to me.
The people really, they're waiting.
All right.
And folks, when we come back, that's exactly what's going to happen. Beth is going to tell somebody who deserves it to shut the hell up. And then right as soon as she's done, I'm just going to jump right in and tell the next idiot to sit your ass down. All you got to do is stay tuned right here to Talk 1260 and 103.7. KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader, 9:29 a.m. Beautiful sunny Sunday morning. 68 degrees here in Santa Fe, on our way to 87. And we hope you'll stick with us right here on Call to Reason. We'll be right back.
Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
Does your business need customers? Of course. Businesses do not exist without customers. Do your employees understand that pleasing clients is connected to the success of the business? If not, Santa Fe Community College has the class for your employees. Customer relations in the hospitality and tourism department will give them the skill sets to keep your customers happy and returning time after time. Registration is open now until August 17th at www.sfcc.edu.
Hi, this is Candyman Chris.
And this is Candyman Franny.
Here at the Candyman Strings and Things, we have everything for your musical needs, from novice to pro. Visit our award-winning showroom and browse the largest instrument and accessory inventory in New Mexico.
Hone your musical craft with one of our awesome music teachers. We have lessons for all instruments and skill levels. Come join us for our Papio Daniels Porch Time Jam and Djembe Madness Drum Circle.
Need service? No problem for our expert band, guitar, and electronics technicians.
Awesome selection, awesome prices, and awesome service. From the Music and Sound Best Sales Staff and Dealer of the Year for 2018.
The Candyman Strings and Things.
Santa Fe's Community Music Center. 851 St. Michael's Drive in Santa Fe. 200 DP Road in Los Alamos. 983-5906. CandymanSF.com.
Summer is in full swing and an Indian market just around the corner. And before you know it, it's back to school. Opera season is also upon us, and if you've never been, you gotta go at least once, so don't delay. My Labrador puppies Basil and Lorna are growing by leaps and bounds, a little better behaved, and yes, adorable, so come by the Hotel Santa Fe most weekdays and visit with them. And when you're in the neighborhood, stop by the farmer's market, enjoy all those wonderful fruits and veggies, a true delight for the eyes and the tummy for that matter. All of us at Hotel Santa Fe, the Hacienda and Spa, hope you had a wonderful, joyous, and safe 4th of July weekend. Whilst I'm so proud to be an American, I am also a bloody Brit, so this holiday always places me in a bit of a quandary. Nonetheless, let's have some fun. Please come by and enjoy a breakfast, lunch, or dinner in our lovely open-sided Amaya restaurant patio at Hotel Santa Fe. I hope to see you soon. Bueno, bye.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk leader.
my life in the sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine.
68 degrees on a beautiful sunny Sunday morning right here in Santa Fe. 9:33 is your time, and it is time, now that we're back on Call to Reason, for Beth to tell somebody who deserves it to shut the hell up. Beth, who's the lucky winner this week?
So before we get into the actual honor, I want to talk to our audience a little bit about the New York Times and access journalism. And I think what I want to talk about is this. And one of the reasons, and I feel like I should explain to our listeners, too, about why I harp on the New York Times all the time. You may not feel like, since you are in New Mexico that you have your own media there and you don't really need to worry so much about the New York Times. Well, folks, the truth is that the New York Times is considered in the United States our paper of record. It's referred to for historic purposes in textbooks, and also I would say that the Washington Post, in terms of politics, our national history in the making, these two papers are sort of the bellwethers for how things get recorded in history. And so that's it's not just that I live in the New York area now that I'm focused and fixated on this. I'm fixated on them as a matter of our paper of record. And I also, in addition to working with Loveless on campaigns and working as a Democrat for years and being executive director of a NARAL affiliate, the other thing I had for almost a decade was a public relations firm called Talking Heads Media. And I was the go-between between all kinds of fine public policy organizations and the media at the Georgia legislature, and I also did some national work too. So this is how the media represents the facts and people who speak to them is something that I'm very passionate about and something that really interests me, which is why I get really aggravated with the New York Times, particularly with Maggie Haberman. She has another article today called Still Standing, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump Step Back into the Spotlight. And the thing that really bothers me about this article is that, once again, it's based on a lot of no-named sources who can speak to the heart of Ivanka and Jared, and and how it does go on to say how they have failed to be sort of the voice of reason on climate change, on child separation at the border. They promised the American people in the beginning that they were going to be the moderating voice to their dad, which has absolutely never happened. Maggie Haberman does, in the article, to be fair, point out that they have failed at this, but why are we still listening to Capitol intrigue? Maggie Haberman also talks about how Kirstjen Nielsen, for instance, did not support the separation at the border issue and almost quit over it. Kirstjen Nielsen won't come to the press and say that herself. It has to be done through someone close to her so that the planet doesn't think that she's an evil witch. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. People, you do not get to just continue throughout this presidency to send your little minions over to Maggie Haberman so that we don't think that you are as awful of a person as you are. And so I would just like to say, Maggie Haberman, you promised us that you were going to go off of Twitter. Why don't you please do that and shut the hell up? You're breaking your promise to all of us. And secondly, Ivanka and Jared and also Kirsten Nielsen and who else is sending minions to Maggie Haberman to speak on behalf of them when they can't speak for themselves. They can just shut the hell up too until they get some courage. So that's who is shutting the hell up today, Maggie Haberman of the New York Times.
I hope Maggie heard you, Beth, because I sure did. This woman frustrates you. She vexes you quite a bit, doesn't she?
Yeah, as does Barry Weiss and many of the people on the opinion page. And I think it's for anybody who's paying attention and who understands also too that they are our so-called paper of record. All of this Capitol intrigue, palace intrigue with Ivanka and how they feel about stuff is going to be part of our textbooks and our narrative in history to come. And if you care about what that looks like to kids who are future generations who are learning about what happened now, I think it should be of concern to all of us.
I could not agree more, Beth. It's vital, vital indeed. So let me just go ahead on and jump right into where I want to talk about today with Sit Your Ass Down. It's time to reveal the big winner this week, and predictably so. I'm just so sick of the lies. I'm so sick of the mischaracterizations, the false information, the misinformation, the misdirection, the bait and switch, just the fabrication of a new alternate reality, which means fake lies. Alternate reality is the opposite of actual reality. And that actual reality is under siege right now by a confirmed pathological, malicious liar who oftentimes spends a lot of time playing on the emotions of people. And so, the fact that we have these emotions, we're so vulnerable. Farmers are taking a big hit right now, y'all. Taking a big hit. They are bearing the brunt of Trump enforcing his new tariff policy to create a level playing field and stop getting America ripped off all over the world. Now, let me just point out that from a theoretical perspective, I totally agree with the president on that issue. I agree 100% that America has been getting ripped off by other countries with these trade deals. I have been screaming about the trade deficit, folks, I swear to God, since 1992. I have been screaming about the trade deficit for over 25 years. I agree with President Trump that America has been getting ripped off, and we need to do something about it. I completely agree. But I don't agree that we should sacrifice the backbone industries of our nation in pursuit of that. I think there are better ways to bring justice when it comes to trade justice. I think there are better ways than to punish American citizens in the process and to punish already vulnerable industries like the family farm. Why would Donald Trump be so cavalier about throwing the family farm under the bus? Could it be because he's in the pocket of Monsanto and the big corporate industrial farms and that whole way of doing business that's trying to drive the mom and pop family farm passed on for generation after generation out of business? And then, again, as is the way of the borrow and binge Republican mentality, we'll just give them $12 billion to ease the pain of this year's crop. The fact that no one's buying our products anymore and they're buying soybeans from Russia, we'll let that slide, and we'll give you $12 billion to cover. Except here's the reality, folks. farmers have already had $13 billion in losses and counting. The fall harvest hasn't even come in yet. $13 billion and counting of losses already. And now he wants to give them corporate welfare, which of course they don't want. And the Republicans are willing to hold their nose and give a pass on. Again, more borrowing binge mentality and more wrecking of lives in order to make a point. Not a good look. Here's what Donald Trump had to say for himself as it relates to this, because this is why he's going to have to do something for me here in just a moment. Listen to Donald Trump, y'all. Just give me 1 second and we're going to play him right up for you all. Here we go, everybody. Oh,
here we go.
Maybe we aren't going.
Okay.
Anyway, I will get this clip queued for everyone. Donald Trump, he claims, so after the fiasco of the whole, reality that farmers were taking a beating and no one was going to buy our stuff, he came up with this grand plan for the $12 billion. And then he, doubled down on trying to bully Europe, and he made a grand announcement to say to the farmers, hey, I know that it looks like it was going to be a bad deal for you and that everything was looking kind of shaky, but I have already solved the problem. Now, I'm not going to point out, I'd appreciate it if you would not point out that I created this problem. Okay? Because I've got a solution to the problem that I've created. And guess what? I have opened up the European market for you. Let's take a listen at what Donald Trump had to say.
But the biggest one of all happened yesterday, other than China. The EU, the European, the thing called Europe. And the relationship with Jean-Claude, who's the head, who's actually a very, very strong guy, very tough guy, but a good man. And he's done an incredible job pulling all the countries together. But we just opened up Europe for you farmers. You're not going to be too angry with Trump, I can tell you, because you were essentially, wouldn't you say, Kim, they were restricted from dealing in Europe. You had barriers that really made it impossible for farm products to go in. And I said to him, do me a favor, will you just, because, China's doing a little number, they want to attack the Farm Belt because they know the farmers love me, they voted for me, we won every one of the states, and you look at that middle of this country, outside of a little bit of blue on the outer edges of the country, we want just everything. And so they figured, what we'll do is we'll attack them. And I see that, and I said, they're not going to win, just so you understand. We have all the cards, we're going to win. But it's not nice what they're doing. But I said to the Europeans, I said, do me a favor, would you go out to the farms in Iowa and all the different places in the Midwest? Would you buy a lot of soybeans right now? Because that whole soybean thing is now going to be opened up. No tariffs, no nothing, free trade. I call it free and fair. See, that's called free trade.
Okay, folks. That's what Donald Trump said. You heard it with your own ears. He said that he's opened up Europe for agricultural products. Now, a funny thing, though, on the way to reality, I ran into a spokesperson for the European Union, spokeswoman Mina Andreeva. On Friday, she told reporters the following, and I quote, on agriculture, I think we've been very clear on that. The agriculture is out of the scope of these discussions. Other than what is explicitly mentioned in the agreement, she says, we are not negotiating about agricultural products. She went on to say, when you read the joint statement, you will see no mention of agriculture as such. You will see a mention of farmers, not a mention of soybeans, which are part of the discussions, and we will follow up on that. Folks, the only thing agriculture is happening is a few soybeans. Corn, wheat, beef, poultry, pork, our domestic fishing industry, none of that is on the table.
That's right.
So once again, the president screwed the backbone industry of America. You can't get more foundational as a country in terms of defining what is the backbone industry of your nation. Folks, our country was built on agribusiness and agriculture and farming. It is one of the oldest industries in this country, and it is still the foundation of it. And President Trump has screwed our farmers, and he's lying to them to their face on top of that to try and assuage them while he goes out and tries to scramble to get them $12 billion in corporate welfare for a problem that he created. And we just heard a Republican, a very quite conservative Republican, Steve Pierce, Congressman Pierce, running for governor, saying he's not so in a rush to vote for $12 billion to bail out farmers for, you know, something that the president has created. So we don't know that he'll even have the votes to do that. He certainly doesn't have the ability to spend the money without Congress appropriating or authorizing the expenditures. So that's going to be an interesting take. Of course, the Congress will do it because they're not going to do anything to harm farmers any further. President put them in a box. And so what I can just say to you, Donald Trump, is simply this. You lie so much that it's shameful, and you really ought to stop. You're lying to the people who this country depends on more than any other industry, and these are honest, hardworking people who don't deserve that level of BS all the time from you. You keep bragging about how they voted for you. I don't think they will if you continue to lie to their faces to them the way that you are. Donald Trump for screwing and then adding the insult of injury with a bald-faced lie to our nation's farm community. I simply say, sit your ass down. Sit your ass down and be quiet for a minute. Go in the corner and sit down and think about the havoc you're wreaking on the lives of real, actual people. Just sit your ass down, man. Beth, we got to take one more final break before we head on out to
Winners and Winners.
Winners and Winners. We're going to take a quick break, everybody, and then we're going to be back with Winners and Winners, and we'll give way to Meet the Press. Y'all stay tuned to Call the Reason. You're on Talk 1260 and 103.7, and we'll be right back.
Call to Reason, Santa Fe's Common Sense Checkpoint, here on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
The 4th annual Santa Fe Summer Series kicks off July 18th through August 12th at beautiful Hippico, Santa Fe. Experience the thrill of pounding hooves and riders taking their horses to spectacular heights, competing for over $400,000 in prize money. Bring the whole family to this one-of-a-kind event. Admission is free. Visit www.hippicosantafe.com for more information.
First impressions are key, especially when you own a small business. When you choose one of Office Court's convenient locations for your small business, you won't just make a good impression, you'll inspire your clients or customers. Beautifully landscaped offices with natural light, great views, and close to any business amenity makes Office Court the perfect place for your small business. Make your first impression the best impression with Office Court. Wagon Road on the south side, Pecos Trail, or St. Michael's Drive. Visit officecourt.com today.
This is Matt.
And Hillary.
From Brian McPartland Roofing.
As third-generation leaders in the roofing industry, we strive to continue our family legacy.
offering superior customer satisfaction that my father instilled in our company.
We offer high-quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. My Uncle Brian McPartland built our company as an family-owned business for over 30 years. We are proud to be founding members of National Women in Roofing New Mexico.
And proud to have the first women roofing crew, leading important community projects at Girls Inc. and Masalas Crisis Treatment Center. Whether it's residential or commercial, historic renovation or new construction, architectural details, metal siding, or rooftop gardens.
From Silver City to Taoski Valley.
From Pytown to Tucumcari.
Find us online and like us on Facebook.
Brian McPartland Roofing, we've got you covered.
Music is a bridge between material and spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, to play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14. We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. Realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Many Mothers is a volunteer, free-of-charge, community-based service available to any family with a newborn, regardless of income level. When a family calls, they match one of their skilled volunteers to their needs. From needing help with grocery shopping, to rocking the baby for a while, or just providing a little company, Many Mothers is here to help. For more information about their services, go to manymothers.org.
Now back to Call to Reason, your dose of common sense and reality radio, with your host, Loveless Johnson III, on KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Call to Reason. We're going to get out of here in a couple minutes, but before we do, it's time for Beth to tell us, and I will too, who is your winner for the week, Beth? Time for winners and winners. Who is your winner?
Loveless, I think we're sharing our winner this week. Our winner is Congressman John Lewis from the 5th Congressional District in Atlanta. He was my congressman for 21 years until I moved to Jersey City, but he is always my congressman in my heart. He's recovering in a hospital overnight, and they say that he's going to be doing okay. Loveless, is Congressman Lewis your winner too?
Yes, Congressman Lewis is indeed my winner, and I wish him nothing but the best. Congressman, you've been one of our heroes forever, and we know that these times come in life, but we are inspired by the fact that once again you are showing us how it's done. Thank you so much for your example of fighting the good fight, and we're glad that the fight that you are fighting right now, you're winning. Beth, I love you. It's going to be a great week coming up. We'll see everyone on CTR on the Side this week, our podcast. Y'all make sure you stay with us to stay current. We love you. We'll see you next Sunday, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on Talk 1260 and 103.7 KTRC, Santa Fe's News Talk Leader. You're on Call to Reason, and we'll see you next week.
Peace out. Bye, Team Red Pill.
Get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Get yourself in gear. Keep your stride. Never mind your fears. Brighter days will soon be here. Take it from me someday.
You're listening to Talk 1260 KTRC AM at 1037 K279 CX FM Santa Fe and streaming live at SantaFe.com.
This Sunday, turning against Trump, the president's longtime personal attorney, Michael Cohen, is apparently prepared to say the president knew in advance about the infamous Trump Tower meeting with Russians.
It appears the president's former attorney and confidant is ready to talk.
And Cohen releases a tape discussing buying the story of a former playmate who says she had an affair with Mr. Trump.
What financing? We'll have to pay me, so no. I got no.
Rudy Giuliani attacks Cohen.
The man is a liar, a proven liar.
Not long after praising him.
The man is an honest, honorable lawyer.
Just how big a threat does Cohen pose to President Trump? My guest this morning, former Trump political advisor Sam Nunberg and Republican Senator Rob Portman of Ohio. Plus guns and poses. Maria Butina loves guns, cultivated conservatives, and is now in jail arrested as a Russian agent. Does she hold the key to an NRA-Russia connection? And base politics. Today marks 100 days till Election Day. It's Democratic enthusiasm versus Trump loyalty. Joining me for insight and analysis are NBC News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Andrea Mitchell, Eddie Glaude Jr. of Princeton University, Wall Street Journal columnist Peggy Noonan, and Matthew Continetti, Editor-in-Chief of the Washington Free Beacon. Welcome to Sunday. It's Meet the Press.
From NBC News in Washington, the longest-running show in television history. This is Meet the Press with Chuck Todd.
Good Sunday morning. Perhaps nothing better illustrates how President Trump wants his supporters to see the world than this moment from his speech to the VFW on Wednesday.
What you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening.
That's right. What you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening. Okay. Despite his Orwellian phrasing, one bit of news President Trump does want people to know is happening is that the economy grew at a rate of 4.1% in the second quarter. It's the highest since 2014 under President Obama. But beyond that, the news was not good for the president this week. There were increasing signs of a Democratic blue wave in the midterm elections, now exactly 100 days away. We learned federal prosecutors are seeking to interview Alan Weisselberg, Mr. Trump's chief financial officer and someone who knows as much as anyone about how the Trump organization and Mr. Trump personally has done business and with whom.